Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hey! I can see some faces, tired faces, sunglasses. But you know, I'm really extremely respectful for the people here the day 2 in the morning because it's a performance. So you know you can applaud yourself. GM! So I'm not alone. This morning, I would like to introduce you our MC for the morning. He's a co-founder of the NFT Factory. He's doing a lot of things. You can see his face. He's moderating, he's presenting, he's helping a lot of companies in the Web3 world. Please, a big welcome for Ethan Pierce. Hi, Ethan.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you.
Yeah, and actually, because it's so important, this thing's absolutely amazing. A huge round of applause for the man who made all of this happen in his head and then made it happen in reality, and his team, John Karp.
Thank you, Ethan. So, Ethan, you know, if you're okay with you, you know, this morning we have a huge planning. We have a lot of things to come all along the morning. A lot of people. Just after, you know, we'll have, I can see Mo from Ledger, you know, who will do a really cool presentation. We'll have art shows. We will have different companies also doing some announcement. But maybe we can introduce the first all together, Ethan?
That would be great.
Yeah,
it's, well, you know, there's this idea that we need the first billion people as users in Web3. And that is, you know, that's an enormous goal to think about that we need, you know, we were 40, 50 million maybe maximum of us playing in this space right now. We need so many more. And a part of that is helping brands really engage their customers through Web3. And one of France's rock stars in that space is Arianee. And so here to talk about that next billion users is the CEO and co-founder.
So please give a big welcome to Pierre, Nicolas, Hurstel from Arianee.
Woohoo!
Hi.
And there he is.
Hello. Hey guys. Good morning. How are you? You good?
Pierre-Nic, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I never thought I would play just right after Agoria, you know. But it's going to be a little bit different in terms of content. Everyone fine? Yeah? Okay, so very happy to be here today. This stage is actually really impressive. We're going to talk about you know, a slightly different angle from the way we look at NFTs in general, Web3, and digital assets. And, you know, if you look at internet today, we could feel like it became a maze. What was supposed to be originally an open, peer-to-peer, decentralized infrastructure ended up being poorly respectful of privacy, full of data leaks, centralized, and monopolistic. So we could look at Web3 as a change of infrastructure that will help us regain our journey. And to regain the control on our journey, digital assets are going to be the thread. And that's what we're going to explore this morning. If you look at the way unique digital scarce asset that you can truly own is going to transform the way we interact online, this is going to have a huge impact on the entire digital economy. The simple fact that you can store a piece of data under your control, in the palm of your hand, in a wallet, is going to have an impact that goes way beyond art and collections. But where do we stand? If you look at the projections, the adoption rate of this technology, we would be looking at 1 billion users by 2030. Okay? The curve are actually very interesting to see. The correlation between the adoption curve of Web3 and wallet users is perfect with the curve of adoption of the internet back in the days. So if you look at that, we would be around 2000, maybe 2001. And if the pace remains the same and there is no acceleration, we would reach 1 billion users somewhere between 2028 and 2030, which is an interesting hypothesis because that would mean that there would be no acceleration. And since the adoption of the internet, every single thing that happened after ended up accelerating with a hockey stick effect. So we could say, okay, 2028, 2030 is maybe worst case scenario. So it looks far, but it's very close at the same time. At the heart of all of this, wallets will become central in any digital experience. What does that mean? I always like to take the parallel of the backpack, okay? In the physical life, we have a backpack, we take it with us. In this backpack, we store everything we need for this physical life. We decide to show whatever we want to whoever we want, to hide whatever we want to whoever we want. And what I believe is that our wallets will become the kind of backpack of our digital experiences. Something we control, something we choose to hide or show, and something that holds everything we need for a smooth digital journey. And inside that, we'll store any kind of proof that will make this journey seamless. Your diploma will probably be a token. Any kind of proofs of ownership, passports of physical goods will also be inside this digital backpack, allowing you to easily resell something, repair it easily, keep it longer. Obviously, art, new forms of digital assets that people will be able to use in immersive spaces. Membership, any kind of card, loyalty program, members club, tribe you're part of will take the form of a proof that will be stored in this digital backpack. All of that securely and under our control. And that's the big shift. If you think about the way internet is built today, our data, our personal data, has become the #1 currency of the digital space. We access free services, thinking that they are free, and we give our data in exchange. This data is then monetized, controlled by third parties who resell it, which makes the highest valorizations and biggest companies in today's economy. So these wallets are really going to hold all our stuff, and what is going to result is that wallets and tokens are going to become a new social graph, a new graph of interest. The social graph today is owned by platforms, the people you know, the things you do, the connections, and this is used to create lookalikes. Okay, I want to target these people, I know that one. Can you give me all the people who think the same or have the same contacts? And all of that is controlled, and platforms, the main business of platforms is to rent this. So imagine a world in which all of that is now under the control of users, where your connections, the things you like, are actually in the palm of your hand and not centralized. So wallets could become profiles, okay? In this backpack, you can hold, I mentioned diplomas, I mentioned proofs of ownership, but maybe you will hold your network. Think about Lens protocol, for example, where your followers are actually in your wallet, okay? So we could be like, okay, that's good, we're going to gain back control, but the problem is blockchains are way too public. We're going to need new privacy tools. In my backpack, I can decide when it's closed. I don't want anyone to come and look at what I own, all the things that I care about, the exact people that I know. So we'll need to be able to choose to hide, to choose to show. We need to be able to separate things and avoid a situation in which all of that ends up being worse than third-party cookies and social media. And we're going to see more and more of these tools. I'm sure you heard about zero knowledge proof and all these new technologies that are coming to light and that are progressively, as adoption grows, going to be available for anyone. So now let's look at businesses. You know, for businesses and brands, it's going to be a complete new era. You know, the cost of digital marketing today, cost of acquisition, $50 to get an email, $120 in fashion, luxury, and beauty to get the first, to get a buyer to buy on your website. All of that, why? Because you need to access this data that is centralized, organized to access people, okay? So the fact that tomorrow brands can build their own network, build their own social graphs, involve their community, involve influencers, their people who contribute to the brand, is going to have a massive impact. And what's going to allow them to do is to build a completely new disintermediated connection with their communities. Today, if you look at the market of digital relationships online, they are intermediated like a giant wholesale market of the relationship. Think about the time when brands needed department stores to sell. They didn't have their websites, they didn't have direct-to-consumer. Well, it's exactly the same now with digital relationships. It's a giant wholesale market of the relation. So, in a way, this change of infrastructure is going to allow brands, projects, artists, to build this direct bond, this direct connection, without having a middleman. You know, before the era of internet, incumbent used to be big industry brands, manufacturers, and medias, and challengers were the big tech that we know today. And today, big tech is the incumbent, and Web3, the Web3 change of infrastructure is the challenger. And it's not surprising to see how, you know, the US is extremely restrictive on all of that, very slow to pass any kind of structural regulation because of the protection of the big tech that are coming from there. So the possibility to interact directly will also kind of change the rules of engagement. You know, users are going to be able to decide why they want to be connected, about what, and what's the deal. So that's also, if you think about people individually, a completely new way to enable each and every one of us. And you think about you know, everything we're starting to see about AI, generative AI, deep fakes, etc. This switch of power coming back in the hand of users is going to give them a new force, a new enablement to make choices, to be more careful, to decide not only how they want to be connected, with what, and under which conditions. So the value distribution is going to have to be completely shifted and completely reimagined. Okay, where when everything now goes from you know, users get free stuff, they give their data in exchange, the data is monetized, and big platforms resell it. Tomorrow we're going to see completely new players, completely new infrastructure, and a redistribution of value. And what I believe is that it's going to have a massive impact on digital economy. If you think about all the value that goes from brands to big tech, the cost, you know, just the cost of acquisition, cost of engagement, cost of re-engagement, cost of second purchase, all of these things have an impact on P&Ls that is huge. And the direct correlation between these costs and the huge valorizations of big tech, all of this money that goes out of the system and concentrated in the hand of a couple companies is going to be redistributed. It's also a possibility for new models, because when you have this direct interaction, obviously we're not going to be like, okay, it's $5 to send me a message. If I want to see your ad, it's going to be $2. I think it's going to be much different. We're going to set new rules. That's going to have you know, loyalty, the way loyalty and engagement is going to be organized around this is going to open a new way, super exciting and creative for brands to engage. Obviously, new revenues, okay, around co-creation and the way you can involve your community in a completely different way. And all of that without any more abuse on our personal data. Because if you think about it, you know, the Cambridge Analytica data leak that resulted in the UK leaving Europe, in the election of several contested leaders around the globe, all of that happened just because our personal data was stored somewhere and poorly protected. Okay, so this is the era of self-owned data, an era when us, you know, that's our, let's say, our digital self, okay, that's separated and intermediated from the things we care about, from the brands we love, from the things, you know, we need to interact online. All of that is basically going to be disintermediated. It's the Uberization, in a way, of the big tech, a world without go-between, where third-party data is not the only way to interact with someone. So this is the future of a new kind of data, a zero-party data, a data that we truly own in our wallet, in the palm of our hand. And so when you think about all of that, my feeling is that NFTs are more than art, more than luxury, more than utility. This is all about digital freedom. All of this is about helping us escape this maze and enter a new era, an era where we're not the product anymore, an era of self-owned data. My name is Pierre Nicolas Hurstel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Arianee. And Arianee, the name Arianee, is a reference to the Ariane link in the Greek mythology. In the Greek mythology, Theseus is stuck in a maze and is trying to escape the Minotaur. And Ariane, who's in love with him, is going to give him a thread that's going to help him escape from this maze and not be eaten by the Minotaur. So if I push a little bit the analogy, let's say that this internet, today's internet has become this maze. Big techs, or in my opinion, the Minotaur, and we hope that us as users will be able to escape this maze thanks to these little digital pieces of data that we will store in a wallet instead of putting them in a centralized platform. Thank you very much, and have an excellent day.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, thank you, good sir. Another round of applause for Pierre Nicolas, and thank you for all of that. Catch him around. It's a fantastic company. Keep an eye on that. If you didn't realize how much of Web3 is actually French, all these really cool things. We have Arianee, which is obviously an amazing thing. One of the other ones that some people don't always realize is French is Ledger. Who here has a Ledger?